Queridos hermanos y hermanas, dear friends, 3 years ago, I spent a month on the island of Patmos, about 20 miles off the shore of Turkey. It's a place where tradition says the visions of St. John occurred that became the book of Revelation. I was the only Catholic among about 2,700 Greek Orthodox on that holy island. And I was there to make the beginning of my formal retirement, to be grateful for so many blessings over the years and people, to pray for each and all of you, and to assess the call of God at that new moment in my life. And so each morning I climbed the hill to the cave where the book of Revelation was experienced and written. And I heard John say, "Come dream with me. I make all things new." Come dream what God can do in our lives, in our church, in our world. I make all things new. I also remember the power and energy, the enthusiasm and commitment of the Archdiocese back in 1987 at the conclusion of the last Synod when we gathered for the Eucharist. Down several thousand people at the Milwaukee arena. I remember Archbishop Cousins present 10 years after his formal retirement. And I remember how deeply moved he was by the entire experience, saying at one point, with tears in his eyes, "I never thought I would see this moment." This afternoon, I remember that, and I'm very grateful. The vision of John, you heard a moment ago, a new heaven and a new earth, and a sea that once symbolized everything that was dangerous and difficult, especially for people coming out of the desert, a sea that didn't exist anymore, symbol of evil, didn't exist anymore. The holy city, people's lives newly interwoven with peace and justice and harmony, mutual respect, new faith, coming down from heaven as a gift from God, not anything that human accomplishment can achieve. And God announcing, "That's where I want to live, with my people. Not in a tabernacle or a temple, in the midst of my people. Healing all heartaches, wiping away all tears, making all things new." Yesterday, there was a word coming through the church of an invitation that's coming from the Holy Father and also from the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople to come together in Nicaea for what may be the third Council of Nicaea in 10 years. See what we can do to bring churches together in a new and remarkable way. It's terribly important this afternoon to remember that even with all our discussions, all the efforts to establish priorities among our hopes and dreams, this is God's work. This is not our work. It's God's work. And when all is said and done, we may be wide-eyed realists, we may understand what's possible and what's needed, but this is God's work. And looking beyond the horizon reminds us that nothing is impossible with God. I remember the opening night of the Second Vatican Council, October 11th, 1962. Been at St. Peter's in the morning, and in the evening, thousands gathered in the piazza of St. Peter's. And they prayed with candlelight. And John came to the window And everyone applauded. And John said, now go home. Go home and kiss your children. Go home and feed the hungry. Go home and reconcile family disagreement. Enter the Eucharist. That's the counsel. And I dare to suggest that that's exactly what we're doing at this point. Go home. Kiss your children. Reconcile disagreements. Feed the hungry. Enter into the mystery of the Eucharist that unites us and transforms us. This is God's work. It's God who says, I make all things new, even ourselves.